it was because the flames didn't burn thoroughly. Or maybe the paint above, after having melted, flowed down to cover the image and prevented it from ruin. Either way, beneath the tip of Shelian's finger, there was certainly a small human face. He started to carefully scratch away that solidified black material. Pei-Ming commented while holding his very swollen left hand. "Your Highness is thus fascinated by some mural?" "It's not fascination," Shelian replied, "but I do have a daring idea." "Let's hear it," Pei-Ming said. "Since we've gotten this rare chance to come to Mount Tonglu, other than stopping the potential Ghost King, perhaps we can also seek the source of their origin. For example, who created them, and what kind of power is supporting all of this? Perhaps we may even destroy it in one strike, rid the world of this disaster for good, and never worry about another Ghost King being born." "That really is a daring thought," Pei-Ming said. "But if Hua Chengju hasn't found anything out, then we'll probably end up wasting even more time on it. Under the current circumstances, I don't recommend doing so." However, Hua Cheng spoke up. "I didn't find out anything because my talents are dull, and my abilities are limited. Besides, at the time, I was too busy killing. If Gerger is to take the lead on this investigation, then the results will be different." No. I'm the one whose abilities are limited. Sun Lang is much more capable than me," Shelian said. As if he couldn't listen anymore, Pei-Ming tossed Pei Su over to Banyue and turned to walk out. "I think I'm gonna go out for some fresh air," he said. It actually wasn't difficult for Shelian to chip off a few chunks of that black, hardened substance. He blinked. These can actually be. This layer of seemingly burnt black, hardened material could actually be peeled off in large pieces. In the short span of those few words, he had already peeled off a large area, revealing a human face about the size of a baby's fist. Although the lines were simple, the expression on the face was lively, like it was chasing after something. Even the passion in the eyes was depicted. That black, hardened material seemed to have become a protective layer of sorts, and the colors of the murals under wraps were still vibrant, like they were only recently completed. Shelian turned his head back. "Sun Lang, let's do this together." Hua Cheng didn't move, but in the darkness there was a field of shimmering silver light. Soon, hundreds of silver butterflies silently appeared. Fluttering, they paused on the blackened walls. Along with the uniform flapping of their wings, Shelian heard a small chipping sound. Like a mask shattering, innumerable small cracks crawled across the black walls. And then there was a crumble. The black, hardened material that had been covering the walls had crumbled, revealing the true image behind. It was a giant, colorful mural. Shelian raised his head to look at this wall and could feel his mind exploding. The entire mural was visibly divided into 4 levels. The highest level was shimmering gold light, blanketed with clouds, and it had no people. On the second level, there was only one character painted, and it was a handsome, white-clad young man. Golden light was depicted as surrounding his person, and that light was painted with the same paint as the first level. The 4th level, which was the lowest level, had countless figures drawn, and they were, again, half the size of those in the 3rd level. Each of their faces were exactly the same. Their expressions were open, each full of passion, worship, and rapture. The first face that Shelian had peeled off was one of those faces situated at the very bottom. The lines of the mural were elegant and mature, and Shelian was stunned for a long time before he could speak. Sunlang, have you ever seen this before? Ho Chang answered slowly. I've crossed over half of Mount Tonglu and have walked through almost every single divine temple of Wu Yang, but I can swear I have never seen something like this before. Shilian came to and said, I don't think this mural is from 2,000 years ago. There's no way it can be, Ho Chang said. Look at how well the colors have kept and the overall condition. I say at most 100 years. Maybe it's even newer than that. Which meant this mural was painted on afterward. Shilian pointed at the highest level. That level should be depicting the heavens, since the path of the heavens sits above all sentient beings. Then he pointed at the second level. This level should be the crown prince of Wu Yang. Since this divine temple was worshipping the crown prince of Wu Yang, the main character of this mural is naturally him. So he's the biggest figure in this painting, with the same color light surrounding him as the heavens. He's also only just below the path of heaven. Then he pointed to the fourth level. The figures at the lowest level are the smallest. Their faces are the same, so they must be the people of Wu Yang. Finally, he pointed at the third level. But who are these for? No matter their positions or faces, they are all situated above the people of Wu Yang and below that of the crown prince. This means their status should be the same. Governors, vassals, or... Ho Chang walked a few steps closer and said, Gogo, look, they also have a sheen of spiritual light on their bodies. Sure enough, they did. Only because the light from the crown prince of Wu Yang was so strong, in comparison, the spiritual light on their persons was practically outshone. It dawned on Shilian. They're the heavenly officials the crown prince appointed after he ascended, which meant that they were the same characters as Feng Xin and Mu Cheng once upon a time. Shilian made a round through the great hall and confirmed that it was only this wall facing the gates that had hidden secrets. The other three walls were so burned they couldn't be more than ashes. So just who left this mural behind? Who was it left behind for? What kind of message was being communicated? With just this one painting, Shilian couldn't deduce much. After humming for a moment, he turned to Ho Chang. When we continue on the road, let's pay more attention to the other Wu Yang divine temples. I have a feeling that a mural like this isn't the only one. Ho Chang straightened his head. I have that very intention, he said. The two and Banyue, who was supporting Pei Su, left the divine temple. It was only then that Shilian remembered the other member. Where's General Pei? Pei Ming said earlier that he was going for some fresh air and went out first, and he didn't come back after they dallied in the Great Hall for a good while. Shilian called out a few times, but there was no response. I hope he hasn't gotten lost at a time like this, he said. The four looked around the small, desolate town, and since they couldn't use the spiritual communication array in Mount Tonglu, their search was fruitless. Just as Shilian was feeling a little desperate, Ho Chang spoke up. Gogo, don't worry, I have a way. He extended a hand, and in his palm, a tiny little silver butterfly slowly started flapping its wings. It flew around Shilian, circling him a few times. Although Shilian thought it was precious, he didn't know what it could do to help. What? He started to ask. But just then, he suddenly heard labored breathing. Soon after, the voice of a man came from the body of that silver butterfly. That man said, I never thought I'd see you here. It was Pei Ming. Shilian looked to He Chang. He Chang snickered. Yesterday, I placed a silver butterfly on everyone. Pei Su arduously raised his head. So, you can use that silver butterfly to monitor others' every movement without them noticing you. As expected, of crimson rain, sword flower. Don't speak if you don't know how, He Chang sniped. Xielin cupped that little silver butterfly in his palm and called to it. General Pei, where are you? Who's in front of you? I'm sorry, Gogo, He Chang said. You can only listen, not speak. Xielin gave it a thought and said, fair enough. If the listener's voice could also be passed through, then wouldn't it be easily noticed by the other party? Soon after, the frigid voice of another young man said exhaustedly, Old Pei, a word of warning. You best not spew any ridiculous nonsense right now. Careful, or I might just smack you to death. Hearing that voice, Xielin's eyes slightly widened. It was Ling Wen's male form. I see, Xielin exclaimed. So the black-clad man who's been killing all along the way is Ling Wen in his male form. Is it Senior Ling Wen who took General Pei away? Pei Su asked. I don't know. I'm still listening, Xielin replied. On the other end, Pei Ming said, Noble Jie, what's with the fury? Shut up, Ling Wen said. I told you not to speak. I'm not the furious one. It's someone else. I'm telling you, I can't control my body right now. So if I wreck you, I'm not liable. We're both in this state right now. Can't even move a muscle. So who are you scaring? Pei Ming asked. Xielin raised his head. It's not Ling Wen who caught General Pei. Right now, they're both held prisoner somewhere, bound by someone. Then he mused. They can even suppress the Brigade Immortal. Who can it be? Are you still wearing? Pei Ming asked. He didn't say it out loud, but everyone knew what he was referring to. The Brigade Immortal. Yeah, he really doesn't like you, so watch what you say, Ling Wen replied. How would you know what he's thinking? Pei Ming wondered. Honestly, I can't believe you. Why would you stupidly stir up trouble? To so recklessly rob the great martial temple and break your own golden bowl. And now you've come running to Mount Tonglu. What? He told you to do all of this? He didn't make me. I'm the one who wanted to come, Ling Wen said. Old Pei, stop asking questions. He's getting mad. I can feel it. Pei Ming shut up. After a while, Ling Wen puffed a light breath, seeming like the Brigade Immortal had finally calmed. Thus, Ling Wen asked, And what's with you, Old Pei? What are you doing, coming to Mount Tonglu? And were you stung by 1,000,000 hornets on your left arm, or what? Looking wounded like that? Pei Ming's voice was aggrieved and woeful. Bad luck. It's complicated. Long story short, little Pei isn't making things easy. Things weren't supposed to be this pathetic, but who knew that the moment I came, I'd run into my unlucky star? Think I'd let anyone drag me to this hellish place if I wasn't injured? I didn't even see who it was. Will you just say what hellish place it is directly? Xielin thought. A cave or a house or something, so I'd at least know where to look. However, it wasn't like there was no clue whatsoever. The distance shortening array couldn't be used in Mount Tonglu, so Pei Ming couldn't have gone far. He could hear their voices were somewhat hollow, with faint echoes, so they must be somewhere that was spacious, and Xielin could faintly hear the sound of water. They hadn't run across any rivers or lakes along the way earlier, and there wasn't a building more spacious than that Wuyong Divine Temple. Therefore, there was only one place that they could be: underground. But the small town wasn't that small, so that didn't tell them much. Where exactly underground? Fei Ming asked, and what about you? I hear you killed over 1,000 monsters and demons. Everyone's terrified. Congratulations. Well, you can't be the #1 silver guard anymore, so why not change careers and join us martial guards? What manner of creature is this that can bind you here? Ling Wen laughed bitterly. I don't know either. I accidentally clashed with Lord Rainmaster and was dizzy afterward, so someone probably took the chance to ambush me from behind. No need to ask. He'll show himself sooner or later. Just remember not to expose your identity. Just then, a third voice interrupted their conversation. Fei Ming, Nan Gongjie, you f***ing pair. No need to spin your wheel of fortune. Think I don't know what's under your fake skins?